Hello there guys, and welcome to another one of my reviews. Today we are driving the brand new, not that new, Hyundai Kona electric. Now this car has been around since 2018 and it caused a lot of stirs when it was launched, mainly because it has an impressive range and a very low price tag compared to its main rival, the Tesla Model 3. And it offers a great package overall, so I was rather curious to take it for a spin. This happened and now I'm able to tell you all about it. So this model, the Hyundai Kona electric, was launched in 2018. It was launched with a couple of batteries on offer. So there's two choices in Europe right now. I'm talking about the European market. There's a 39 kilowatt battery pack available, along with a 136 horsepower engine motor under the hood, and there's also the 64 kilowatt battery option with 204 horsepower available. So the one you're gonna want to get, I'm assuming, will be the 64 kilowatt hour version, because it has a bigger battery, a bigger range. Speaking of which, the WLTP testing showed the Kona electric being able to cover 450 kilometers on a single charge, while the 39 kilowatt battery offered an autonomy of around 290 kilometers. So if you're choosing an electric car right now, out of the two options the Hyundai Kona offers, you should know that these are the official ranges claimed by the WLTP organization. So not too bad, not the best either, so they're right in between. Can you achieve those numbers? I think you can. During my time with the car, I tested it around town, and it showed an average energy consumption of around 14 kilowatt hours for each 100 kilometers covered. So doing a simple math, that means you can cover up to 500 kilometers on a single charge easily. Outside the city limits, it will depend on the speed you are doing. So if you're driving with an average of, 80 kilometers an hour, 90 kilometers an hour, you should see an energy consumption of roughly 14 to 15 kilowatt hours. So that should put you right where Hyundai claims you should be. So no worries there. If you're driving on the highway, most highways in Europe are limited to 100 kilometers an hour. So 130 kilometers an hour, sorry about that. So the energy consumption on that kind of a highway at those kind of speeds will raise exponentially. During my time with the car, I saw an average of 22 to 24 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers covered. So pretty steep. But then again, you're doing 130 kilometers an hour, and electric cars aren't really meant to be driven that fast and still be efficient. So those are the fuel consumption figures for you guys. If you're planning on getting a Hyundai Kona electric, this is something you need to keep in mind. Charging takes 54 minutes at 100 kilowatt charging station. There are very few charging stations of that kind around Europe. Most of them, most fast charging stations are around 50 kilowatt hour. So that should take about 1.5 hours to fill the entire battery. At the same time, using a household plug should take about 20 hours. Once again, if you're keeping it charging overnight, every night, shouldn't be a problem, because you should get like plenty of range out of your battery anyway. If you're using a Type 2 socket, the charging power is around 6 to 7 kilowatt hours, so it should take about 10 hours to fully charge your battery. So it will depend, the charging time will depend on what type of charger you're using. The car takes up to 75 kilowatts hour. That's how it's been set up. So if according to Hyundai, if you're traveling and you want to get like 200 kilometers of range out of it, a 30-minute recharge at a fast charging station should get you 200 kilometers of range back into the battery. So that's yet another thing you need to consider. As far as the differences go, the electric version of the Kona is a lot quieter inside, as you would expect. At higher speeds, you do get a lot of road noise in the cabin, coming in from the A-pillars and from the tires. They could have isolated the sound a bit better, if you ask me, but it's not a big deal. Other than that, inside, the layout is pretty similar, except the center console, which is now basically floating because you have a storage space underneath it. The gear shift knob is now just a set of buttons located around here. You get, drive, park, neutral, and reverse. It's all electronic, so no biggie there. You have a wireless charging port here. You have a connector for the USB. The infotainment system also supports Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. You have 2 cup holders, plenty of storage spaces, so it's even better than in the regular Kona. The instrument cluster is digital, looks very good, really easy to read out. You have the power and charge functions to the left, you have a battery indicator to the right, really easy to use. You only have 3 driving modes, well 4, but one of them is like, so you have Eco, Normal, and Sport mode. Eco mode can be actually turned into Eco mode Plus if you keep the Eco button pressed, which will cut some of the car's functions. I have to mention that my fuel consumption figures were all attained in normal mode. I didn't go into Eco mode, so that's an important distinction there. So all my power consumption figures were in normal mode, so I didn't use Eco mode, I didn't use Sport mode either, but according to Hyundai, using Sport mode shouldn't have a big impact on the battery anyway. I don't know if that's true, I didn't really test it out, but I guess it is. I mean, they've been pretty spot on with everything about this car so far, so I think their claims are true. Hyundai has become a pretty straightforward company lately. So the infotainment system, getting back to the interior of the car, is rather new for 2020. It has a couple of functions that tell you how long it will take to charge the car, depending on different charging rates. You can set up different charging times to save some money. It shows you the range you have available with or without the AC on. It shows you which component of the car sips more fuel than of the overall fuel consumption figures, and so on. Energy consumption. So what's my take on the Hyundai Kona electric? Well, I'm guessing it will be a cheap option, or rather I should say a cheaper option than the Tesla in most markets. I don't know the pricing for every market, so it will depend on where you're located right now, but it will be a cheap option with a very long range, so I do recommend it. There are some nibbles with it, but they do come for all electric cars. For example, since there's no engine noise, you can hear every nook and cranny in the road. The suspension seems very loud, but I don't think it is especially loud compared to anything else on the road. It's just that since you don't have an engine running, you can hear everything inside. Also, the instant torque brings along torque steer, because the power is delivered to the front wheels alone. Brings along traction loss, because the 400 Newton meters of the 204 horsepower and motor up front are overwhelming the front axle rather easily. So yeah, but it's not a big issue, to be honest. And Hyundai said they are planning on installing and offering as standard Michelin tires in the future, so that this issue will be no more. The car we're driving has Dunlop winter tires right now, so that's something you might want to take into consideration. That said, this has been my review of the Hyundai Kona Electric. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share, and of course subscribe. Let's reach that 1,000 subscribers mark. I would be very, very appreciative if that would happen soon. Thank you guys. Don't forget to drive safe and enjoy your passions. Ciao.